Let me not to the marriage of true minds admit impediments. Love is not love, which alters when it alteration finds, or bends with the remover to remove. Oh no, it's an ever fixed mark that looks upon tempests and is never shaken. It's the star to every wandering bark whose worth's unknown, although his height be taken. Love's not time's fool, though rosy lips and cheeks within his bending sickle's compass come. Love alters not with his brief hours and weeks, but bears it out even to the edge of doom. If this be error and upon me proved, I never writ, nor no man ever loved. So taking a comfortable seat. It's wonderful to be back with you. Placing your hands on top of your lap, open, at rest, receptive. And then letting everything quiet and sink back into its proper place. You can feel the dust like in a glass of water slowly falling to the bottom of the glass. And your mind steps back behind itself and finds a place that is completely at rest and at the same time wide awake. I always imagine that seat being this plush chair. And from it, I can see the whole landscape of thoughts and emotions and body, pleasure and pain. And from that point of view, everything softens: the face, the neck, the throat. And then just opening up the heart, feeling that spaciousness in the chest. And even now, I feel myself letting go of the defensiveness around my belly, the protectiveness. And you just might feel the drawbridge coming down in front of the heart and opening that space and allowing whatever to come in, whatever thoughts, whatever dread, whatever joy, to just come and go for the next half hour. feeling your feet flat on the floor and your shoulders softening. And then there's this conduit that opens up between the heart and the head, and you feel them as one instrument. We don't think of the end of the flute as a different instrument from the mouthpiece, but we live our lives that way. So this one instrument is breathing into the count of 4, with a pause at the top, and then full breath out to the count of 5. And we might say, breathing in, I know this is an illusory world. And breathing out, I choose this world to help relieve the suffering of others. Nisargadatta would say, breathing in, my wisdom is knowing that I'm nothing, that all of this is nothing. Breathing out, my love is knowing that I'm everything and a part of all of this. Helping the others is helping myself. Breathing in one wing of mindfulness, wisdom. Breathing out the other wing, compassion. Breathing in, I know this is an illusory world. There really is no danger here, Rilke says. Why worry? Padre Pio would say. Breathing out, I choose this world to help relieve the suffering of others. This is what we know, and it hurts. And we have to do our best under these conditions. And in the last minute, just assuming that seat again, that plush chair, that space behind the mind. And from there, you can watch your thoughts go by. Not bending with the remover to remove, but just watching them go. Let me not to the marriage of true minds admit impediments. Love is not love, which alters when it alteration finds, or bends with the remover to remove. Oh no, it's an ever fixed mark, that looks on tempests and is never shaken. It's a star to every wandering bark whose worth's unknown, although his height be taken. Love's not time's fool, though rosy lips and cheeks within his bending sickle's compass come. Love alters not with his brief hours and weeks, but bears it out even to the edge of doom. If this be error, and upon me proved, I never writ, nor no man ever loved. This is the beautiful week in Washington. For those of you who live here, you know what I mean. Everything is bursting out. And it's also the week of the remembrance of Lincoln's assassination in 1865. And as the train was carrying Lincoln's body back to Springfield, Walt Whitman wrote a poem called When Lilacs Last in the Dooryard Bloomed. And it was a love poem to this train as it was going west. And it was a poet in agony for a leader that he loved. It's especially hard to read that poem. I wanted to use that poem today, but I couldn't find any section that carried the emotional weight of it alone, and it was too long to share with you all. But today I chose Shakespeare's poem, which is something like a marriage vow. I went to a party about a month ago, and someone at the party recited the poem, and I thought to myself, I have to use this in my Friday talks. And it's coming from the point of view of a full-grown partner who has already seen trouble with the beloved. And from the vantage point of experience, makes the vow that from now on, I'm not going to let anything get between this marriage of true minds. I'm not going to bend with the remover to remove myself from this union. The remover could be a person, as it's often read, or it could be just time itself, or any number of temptations that take us away from the joining together of two lives. Then at the end of the poem, he says, and if this isn't true, that I never writ anything and no man ever loved. It's almost like a cheeky wager. In fact, if you look closely at the poem, you'll see that it's just full of negative statements. Let me not. Love's not time's fool. Love is not love. It alters not. So it seems that the speaker is really drowning in the very impediments that he's trying not to admit. But the poem is so beautiful for that vulnerability. In my mind, it's my favorite of all the sonnets, even given its unreliable confidence. Because when I walk away from this poem, I know only one thing, and it's really all I need to know. And it's that what we thought love was when we were young is not real love. Love is not love, he says in the second line, with that important line break. Of course, the sentence continues into the third line of the poem, but it hangs there and asks of us, what do you think of this? Love is not love. It's not love as we thought it was. And with that knowledge, as grown-ups, we go forward. It's like when Nietzsche says, God is dead. What Nietzsche really means is that the old God that served us in the past, looking down and protecting a certain tribe, is not of use to us anymore. And so in our maturity, we have to face that and find new metaphors for what God is. So how does this poem fit into our discussion of mindfulness? We could look at it as a vow to mindfulness with all the vulnerability that Shakespeare's speaker offers us. And in that sense, what marriage are we talking about? We're talking about the marriage of the object of attention with the one who attends it. An act of mindfulness is an act of love, but it's different from romantic love because there's no erotic component. There's no desire here. There's no, I need you to be this way in order for this to be okay. Or I need you to love me in the way that I love you. In mindfulness, the act of love, the act of attention is simply to ask, how can I serve you exactly as you are in this moment? And in that way, the moment that we're standing in becomes the beloved. And there are removers that come and try to take us away. Our thoughts, they carry us away. Our fears carry us away. Our worries are removers. They carry us away into the future. Our aversions and our reactivity carry us away into the past, things that happened in the past, and we're worried that they're going to happen again now. So all of these removers are coming in, and all that is required of us is that we tarry there and we stay in this moment and we look at it as it is and we just say, how can I serve you exactly as you are right now, unique from every other moment that ever existed on the earth? What Rilke says always stays with me. He says, all of this hurrying will soon be over. Only when we tarry do we touch the holy. So often when we're meditating, we fall into the trap that this poem is describing. We say to ourselves, I'm a bad meditator. We say to ourselves, I have to be quiet. Let there not be any noise so that I can meditate in peace. And the remover is simply sometimes just the thought, I have to be mindful right now. It's like when George Costanza screams, serenity now. And you know that that's not working. We've all been in that situation where we're screaming in our own way, serenity now. So that desire to be mindful can be the very remover from mindfulness. But we don't have to be carried away by distraction. We can just take that seat behind our mind and watch the thoughts go by and say, like this poem really asks us to say, that's none of my business. My business is this marriage of true minds. My beloved is this moment. Let me not to the marriage of true minds admit impediments. Love is not love, which alters when it alteration finds, or bends with the remover to remove. Oh no, it's an ever fixed mark that looks on tempests and is never shaken. It's a star to every wandering bark whose worth's unknown, although his height be taken. Love's not time's full, though rosy lips and cheeks within his bending sickle's compass come. Love alters not with his brief hours and weeks, but bears it out even to the edge of doom. If this be error and upon me proved, I never writ, nor no man ever loved. Returning to that restful state, hands receptive, the shoulders falling like cloth around that conduit between the heart and the head. And whatever you carried with you into this meditation, give yourself a break from it. for 10 more minutes. And if you're beating yourself up about how you're always thinking while you're meditating, congratulations, you're paying attention to your thoughts. The way you can serve this moment is to let that judgment go. And with that, you might say to yourself, may I give my full attention to my beloved this moment. May I say thank you for this moment and everything in it. And thank you that it's already changing. There it goes. May I come into this moment a full-grown human. The love I have to give is different from anything I thought love was. May say, may I give my attention rather than pay attention, which is so transactional. I pay attention to you. Now it's your turn to pay me back. But may I give my attention as a gift. What happens then? Sati is the seventh step of the Noble Eightfold Path. Sati means remembering, but it's translated as mindfulness. We just remember again and again that we're here. Breathing in. My wisdom is that all of this is really nothing. It's made of quantum foam. Breathing out, I choose this movie. I choose this role to play it like a star. Breathing in, I feel my wisdom. This is an illusory world. Breathing out, I choose this love. I'm a part of everything. Amidst all the countdowns of April 7th and the bad behavior of world leaders, there was Artemis 2, which is sort of like, not to get all sentimental, but that's the train carrying Lincoln's body. And from the point of view of Artemis 2, we have the vantage point of seeing ourselves as a unity. And what we see is the earth as this calm, whole, unbothered, contained totality, perfect exactly as it is, and made of water. To honor the earth is to honor the flow of this moment into the next, like water. To let one thought become another thought and flow away like water. And even as we get distracted by the news and by what is very real in this moment, we can also see with the wisdom of these eyes. This is what Walt Whitman says in Song of Myself. Earth of the limpid gray of clouds, brighter and clearer for my sake. Far swooping, elbowed earth, rich, apple blossomed earth, smile, for your lover comes. That's a marriage of true minds. Let me not to the marriage of true minds admit impediments. Love is not love, which alters when it alteration finds, or bends with the remover to remove. Oh no, it's an ever fixed mark that looks on tempests and is never shaken. It's the star to every wandering bark whose worth's unknown, although his height be taken. Love's not time's fool, though rosy lips and cheeks within his bending sickle's compass come. Love alters not with his brief hours and weeks, but bears it out even to the edge of doom. If this be error and upon me proved, I never writ, nor no man ever loved.